Guys, it's college football Saturday here. That's right. We switched it back up, make it appropriate here. We got some over under wins for you. We're going to talk amongst, I believe it's 7 teams that we're going to discuss here from all the ranges of college football here. So stay tuned, get ready, and let's make some bets here. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, back to Lock It In on the Raccoon Sports Hub. My name is Tanner Dawson. Joining me, of course, is Scott Coben and Alan Prowlis. Guys, welcome in. We are just less than a month away from week 0, and we're gonna have these conversations that we're gonna have today. We're gonna be talking the wins totals. We're gonna be talking divisions. We're gonna be talking a bunch of different stuff leading up. Your futures, if you're betting the way I'm betting too, I'm putting futures in, maybe a couple bucks at a time for a future, but I'm gonna have a lot of futures in this thing coming into play for the college football season.
I have good news for you, Scott. Hawaii is indeed playing week 0. They host.
Oh, there we go.
Late night.
There we go.
Late night at the Cobe household for Hawaii.
6:30 game time Central Time, so it'll be 7:30 your time.
Jeez, I hate that.
Stanford's already a 1.5 point favorite.
I've already put in at least a dozen futures because this is where you get value right now. Once the season gets closer, win total is either going to shoot way up or way down. And a half a game means a huge difference in betting futures. So,
yeah, that's
so,
true there. So, but
a couple of them happen to be the ones we're talking about today. So,
I would
there
say,
you go.
Tanner, you get to watch football week 0 too because your Jayhawks host Fresno State.
Yeah, and I might be at that game, so we'll see. We'll see.
And then
see
you got the Dublin game between Iowa State, Kansas State.
Yeah, I know a lot of people here going there for that.
Yeah, I'm flying over to Dublin.
Are you flying over, Scott? You gonna go to Dublin? You hang out with Seamus?
6 stopovers to get to Dublin from Boston. So
we'll start bringing us on week 0 here a couple weeks before, and we'll start getting some early bets in that are available. So don't you worry about that. But today, again, we're focusing on about 7 teams over under wins for the season. Why we like it, why we don't, and kind of go from there. And these wins are based off of DraftKings from earlier this week. So if it's changed, I'm sorry, but we can look at that as well. But yeah, I think this is a good place to start. So we're going to start small, and then we're going to gradually get to the spot, to the bigger schools. So, but without further ado, guys, let's dig into it. Let's start here. UTSA being our first.
James Madison's not on the list. Oh,
James Madison, not this week. But some of these guys play James Madison. So remember,
yes, they do.
So UTSA opens up with A&M, right there. You can't see that brief of the schedule here that they got going on. Army at the end there, you can see that. Charlotte, South Florida, Tulane. I mean, they got a decent schedule here for this year, and they're over under right on DraftKings is 7.5. I have to pull it again just to make sure it is still 7.5 here. Over under for the 2025 season for UTSA. Scott, I'll start with you. What do we like? What don't we like here in this?
So Josh McCown's son is the quarterback for UTSA.
Owen McCown, that's right.
Owen McCown. He averaged 280 yards through the air. 64% completion percentage. So he's pretty good. Their offense is going to be really, really good. They have a good running back in Robert Henry. They have wide receivers in Willie McCoy, Watson, and Smith. So they have some decent weapons, and they're focused on the offense. They're going to be really good. They're going to go over their win total. They give Texas A&M some problems opening week for them, I think, with their offense alone. You're going to put pressure on the defense to have to stop you. And I don't know if that early in the season. Remember Colorado last year against TCU put like 45 up opening week, and nobody saw it coming. This UTSA team, they're going to put some points up. So I like them to go over. Yeah, I like them to go over their total. I think they're going to get 8 or 9 wins out of the schedule this year. They're going to be really good. Really good. So
you got the over in this one.
Yeah.
All right, Alan, what do we like here on this one?
Yeah, I'm going to go over too. I'm looking at their schedule right now. There's a couple games I look at, and maybe they're thinking, okay, this team can beat them. This team can beat them. Really, it's only a couple. It's A&M, which Scott, you mentioned, they can give A&M a run for their money, and really Tulane. If you think about it, those are the two games I think that you could kind of mark those downs as losses. If there's two teams that maybe could give them a little bit of trouble, you could say Army at the end of the year, and I would even throw out East Carolina as well because I think they've gotten better too. But I think this team is going over, and I think that at the end of the year we could be talking about this team maybe competing for the American Championship and maybe even a spot in the college football playoff.
There we go. There. I mean, wow, 7.5 win total here, like you talked about already. Owen McCown there. Robert Henry Jr. last year had 900 scrimmage yards. He's back there. It's a very up-tempo offense. The schedule, I love it. I love that the fact that you got to go to you have A&M, and then you go to Texas State right away too, before you really get to the down and dirty of the conference. So I like that. Defense could probably be better, but you're going to score points, right? So I think this is going to be pretty high-scoring games.
See that Week 4 game, Tanner?
Yep, Colorado State.
That's definitely an over game. Both teams are going to score. It's at Colorado.
Yeah, these are going to be pretty high points, I think, when they really get in conference here. Look, experienced QB. You're staying in Texas for majority of your season. You skip two of the top teams. Truly, the two of the top teams in that conference. I mean, yeah, I think we're leaning towards the over here. I like the over 7.5 wins. You can get that currently 7.5 minus 135 on DraftKings. There's some others out there. I'm sure you can find a little bit of price if you want to wait and see. That's fine too. But I like the over in UTSA. I like what they're going to bring here, and they're definitely going to be some of our weekly picks for them here. So
their longest road trips this year are either going to Temple or to South Florida.
Yeah.
But you also have a trip to Charlotte. Other than that, they're mostly staying in Texas.
Yeah, Colorado.
Nine games in Texas. 9 games.
Phenomenal.
Great.
Schedule.
Fabulous. Less travel time. We like that. So we'll take the over 7.5 wins, guys, for UTSA. Make sure you get that marked down ASAP. Next up here, we're going to pop into Texas State. And we just talked about UTSA. Now we're going to Texas State. And these guys do play each other in the second week or week 1. You could say technically, or week 2, I guess, technically, in this one here. So the over-under for Texas State is 6.5 wins. Alan, we'll start with you here on our Texas State over and under. What do we like here?
I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under for them because it's a tough start. Eastern Michigan's not the easiest team to go up against right away, but that is a winnable game. But then you've got to go, like we mentioned, you've got to go to UTSA and then to Arizona State, a team that was in the playoff last year. You've got Troy's always a tough out. Marshall's always a tough out. You've got James Madison coming to you. South Alabama's been great the last couple years. UL Monroe's always a tough out. I don't know. I know that they're about to make the switch to the newly refurbished Pac-12 here pretty soon, but I'm going to go with the under on that.
Under 6.5 wins for the season. Okay, Scott, what do you like? What are you thinking?
So this is another explosive team. So under their coach in the last, I think he's been there 2 years, maybe 3. Kinney, I think is his name. GJ Kinney. They are 15-2 when they score 31 plus points. They are 1-8 when they don't. That tells you all you need to know. This is a perfect, for me, in-game betting team, because you got to watch the first quarter with them. If they got 14 points in the first quarter, they're probably going to win the game because they're going to go over 31. And they have a trend with this coach, over and under. I'm going to agree with Alan. I think they get 6 wins out of the schedule at most. This is a tough schedule. This is a tough,
it really is.
So
it is. I mean, you had a major roster turnover, right? You had 20 players hit the portal, 5 returning starters total in this one here. You're not sure with the QB situation yet there going into your spring camp. You have UTSA, Arizona State here as well, Eastern Michigan. Should be a layup, but I mean, James Madison, Louisiana, Southern Miss. It's kind of crazy here that this is where we're at here. Now, DraftKings did go up since then to 7.5 here at -160. But if you can find that 6.5 still, I would take it and I would grab the under. This it's a lot. There's a lot of heavy road games early, as you can see in the schedule here. We're taking the under here. If you can find 6.5 and you grab that under, you're going to get good value in, and I would grab that as well. So 6.5 wins, guys. It looks like we're training the under here for Texas State for this year.
7.5 right now. I definitely go under.
Yeah, 7.5. It's what they're at now.
It's going to go back down to 6.5. So grab.
But it's at -160. It's almost like, we got to put a little bit more money on it. But yeah.
We want you to take the under. They're begging you to take the under, is what they're doing.
Oh yeah, they are. So, next up, one of our favorite schools to bet, and this is Liberty, guys. Liberty, one of our favorites here, as you can see on this picture here for their schedule, over under 8.5 wins, guys. What are we thinking here for Liberty football?
So I did a lot of digging into Liberty because I'm very interested in them. They have 6 or 7 first team all conference selections. Julian Gray is the guy to watch for this team. He's their running back. He's going to be the guy that sets up the table for them on offense. They didn't have a great year last year. They were 8-4, I think. They had a subpar year for what everybody expected them to be, which was 11-1, 10-2. They lost a game at the end of the year again. I think against Kennesaw State that they should not have lost.
Yeah, was that Kennesaw State's first win, second win in the season, something in that range?
First win ever in FBS, Kennesaw State's over Liberty. So I think Liberty's going to bounce back. Their coach is really good. They lost a lot of defensive players to the portal, and they restocked. So I think they're picked to win the conference. I think they're going to win the conference. I think they're going to go over their win total. I can see 10 wins from this team pretty easily.
All right.
So I'm going to go over.
You're taking the over. Alan, what do you got for Liberty?
I got the over too. I think they're going to have a huge bounce back here. The James Madison game is going to be tough. That'll probably be one of the better small school games of the year between them and Liberty. But other than that, there's not a team on their schedule that kind of like jumps out at me. I mean, we could see a surprise potentially, but I think they're going over. And I mentioned it with the UTSA. This could be another team vying for that Group of 5 spot in the playoff this year.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. So, look, their schedule is a cakewalk. It's a freaking cakewalk. James Madison is the only opponent that has finished outside of the top 80, or who was inside the top 85 in 2024. Everybody else was outside of that. Okay. Look, you do got a new quarterback. You got 5 quarterbacks actually, but you are looking at Coastal Carolina's quarterback from last year, Ethan Vasco, being the guy.
What is this team? Cleveland Browns?
All right. Everybody's just taking the freaking deal there. But yeah, Coastal Carolina's former Coastal Carolina quarterback, Ethan Vasco. And we liked Coastal last year a little bit. So I like what he brings there. Look, the defense is going to be fine. This a lot of veteran presence there. A couple power forward transfers, so I ain't too worried about that. And quite frankly, your coach is 21-5, and what, 3 seasons, 2 seasons?
Yeah, 3.
So
this will be his
third
season. Yeah,
yeah. With the schedule as it is right now, and just in general, like who you're playing, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do this, guys. We're gonna take that over. And this is 8.5 here on the screen. They just upped it to 9.5. But as Scott said here, I like the 10 wins. I like the 10 wins in this one. So I am going to go ahead and take that over 9.5 as well at plus 110 on DK since the beginning of the week here. So,
and Tanner, for anybody that's watching this now, and it'll be repeated when they play each other, bet them to put a big number on Kennesaw State. This coach will not forget what Kennesaw State did.
Kennesaw State also reclassified, so now they're in a lower, even lower field. Yeah, so they reclassified during this past season. So
I don't care. Put a big. They're gonna put a big number on Kennesaw State.
Cover the spread minus 28.5.
Take Liberty. Yep.
All right, time to move into to some other schools here. Here it is, USC Trojans. 7.5 wins currently is what it was when I made this slide here. Alan, we'll start with you here for the USC Trojans for this year. You can see the previous 2024 results on the right-hand side of their schedule. But what do we like here? Well, what are we thinking here? I don't see that Ohio State team on this list here.
It's
so
not on there.
what are you thinking?
What's the number, Tanner? Oh, 7.5.
7.5, right there.
Here's the thing.
He's going under. I know he is, coach.
Anybody who's watching this right now, who knows me, knows that I'm going to be very biased to USC because of who their head coach is, because of how he left a certain program and what have you. But it's also looking at the last few years, every Lincoln Riley-led team since he took over at Oklahoma has not had a defense at all. Whatsoever. It's always been high scoring. It's always had offense, you know, and the last couple of years, now that Caleb Williams is gone, it bit him in the butt last year. I'm not really sold on their quarterback. I'm not sold on some of the guys that they have in there. And you say, well, they don't have Ohio State in there. They don't have,
Penn State.
No Penn State at all. But you still have to go to Oregon. You still have to go to Notre Dame. You still have some teams, Michigan State's not going to lie down. Michigan's not going to lie down for them. And I think they're going to lose to Nebraska as well. So there's a couple teams that might upset USC this year, because if you get into if you don't put up points if you're Lincoln Riley, if you don't put up points for USC, then you're in trouble, because their defense can't stop a cold. So I think they're going to be a 6-6 team. I'm going to go under.
You're taking the under? Okay. Scott?
I'm on the opposite side of this. So look at this schedule. There's only 4 games I have earmarked that they could have problems in. Michigan, at Notre Dame, at Nebraska, at Oregon. I think they can win every other game. There's no Indiana on the schedule. There's no Penn State. There's no Ohio State. They could have a top 5 passing game in the country. They have a quarterback that's been in the system, that's really, really is solid. And they have wide receivers they got through the transfer portal and a tight end that's pretty good. So their passing game with Lincoln Riley as your head coach, who's an offensive mind, they're going to put points up. There's no doubt in my mind. It's their defense that worries me, as Alan said. So I think when you look at it, when I look at their schedule, I already have them marked for 8 wins, which is over the total. If they can beat Michigan or Nebraska, they get to 9 wins. I think they're going over. I just think Lincoln Riley's history as a coach has been offense first, really, really good. He's probably averaged close to 40 points a game as a head coach. And to me, a lot of these teams can't get to 40 points, I don't think, in a game. So I like them to go over.
Yeah, I think USC avoiding Ohio State, Penn State, and they got, of course, Michigan on that table, Oregon, Notre Dame.
Let me ask you guys this: with the schedule that they have right now, this year, if they do not sniff the Big Ten championship, is this considered a disappointing year?
No,
because there's too many. You got Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State ahead of them, and maybe Indiana. So I don't think so. But if they could finish top 5 in the conference, that's a really good year for them, I think.
Yeah, I agree. We don't see USC as the old way that they used to be, right? With the Leinarts and the Bushes. Like, this is still a team in progress, but they got some guys. There. You got your red shirt from UNLV a couple years ago, Jaden Maeva, starting a quarterback here. I'm excited there because he brings a versatile look here for that offense and Lincoln Riley. So, look, they had to do some reshuffling on the O-line, but overall here, like, looking at the schedule here and where I'm at, I think the offense is going to be something. I think the defense will figure its life out when it needs to, and the schedule just in general. I mean, Michigan lost. Let's just say Michigan, Notre Dame, Nebraska, Oregon is your losses. You're in the 8 range. So yeah, I'll take the over. I'll take the over 7.5.
It's frustrating.
Minus 135.
It's frustrating because, one, I've dealt with this, and I'm sure USC fans are dealing with this too right now. If they had any sort of semblance of defense with this team, they can compete in the Big Ten. They might not, take down the top guys like Penn State or Ohio State, but if they had any semblance of a defense, they can compete in the Big Ten.
Well, last year, if you take a look at what they did ranked wise, right? So they went from 123rd the year before to the 61st. So there was an improvement, and now you are looking at getting 8 starters back on that defensive side, and you could be. I mean, if they're top 40, you're right, Alan. They can compete. This could be a team that if based off the schedule here, let's say they get that Michigan win right at October 11th. We're in conversation of, hey, now we're looking possibly a potential team that could really sneak into the playoffs if need be, if they can get their next couple games figured out. So USC is going to be a team to watch, I think, honestly, this year too.
There's very quickly. There's two things that stick out in their schedule. Look at this stat: Missouri State, Georgia Southern, at Purdue and Michigan State. They can start out 4-0. And my other stick with the schedule is, before Michigan, who do they play? Bye. They have 2 weeks to prepare for Michigan. Before they play
Michigan and Notre Dame.
And Nebraska. They got a bye before Nebraska. So they could, if they split those, you're talking about a 9 or a 10 win team very easily. So,
it's possible. It's possible that offense and that builds here and the improvement they saw last year from the year before. So, hey, keep an eye on USC. This might be a team too where you adjust mid-season and try to cash in some value. So, all right, time to move on here. Keep it in the Big Ten here. Somebody Alan's looking really forward to talking about here. Nebraska Cornhuskers. You can see in the schedule here, they do play in KC here at where I'm at, in Arrowhead to begin with Cincinnati there. But doesn't look awful to start the season when you're playing at home. But you are on the road a bunch towards that middle and end season. Alan, man, I'll be glad to start with you. We're looking at 6.5 wins here for Nebraska. What's your take here? What's your thoughts, and what are we thinking?
Much like USC, they don't have to play Ohio State. And really the only top contender in the Big Ten that they have is Penn State at the end of the year. They go to Penn State. Other than that, most of their tough games are at home. I like this team going over. I think this is going to be a dark horse sleeper team in the Big Ten this year. I think Matt Rule's done a great job in trying to salvage any sort of semblance that the Nebraska program has left. And as a Sooner fan, it disgusts me saying that because we are rivals. even though that part of the Big 12 dissolved almost 2 decades ago at this point, almost.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think, looking back on it, that this was the team to beat in college football in the late 90s, early 2000s. This was one of the teams to beat. And they've just fallen so far off. It's like anytime people mention Nebraska, it's like, huh? It's like, why are we talking about Nebraska? They have such a great tradition at Nebraska too. So
They really do.
I think we're finally starting to see a little bit of the Nebraska of old come back to life. And I think they're going to start. It may not work out for them the way some may think, but I think they're heading in the right direction. I think you're going to start seeing pieces of it this year with Nebraska that maybe they're on their way back. So I'm going over.
Yeah, you're taking the over. It is up to 7.5 wins now, just so you guys know, in DK, of course. That'd be an increase. Scott, man, what's your thoughts here on Nebraska?
So going off last year, offensively, they weren't very good. They were winning games 17-10, 14-6, games like that. There's no Ohio State in the schedule. Again, another team, no Ohio State, no Oregon, no Indiana, and no Illinois. And those are 4 teams that are pretty good in the Big Ten, or really good. So they see Michigan at home early in the season, and then their next toughest game's not until November 1st against USC, I think. So they have a string here where after the bye weekend, the 27th, they can reel off 4 straight wins before they get to USC and gain confidence. I think they're going to win 8 or 9 games this year. I think their defense is going to be really good again, and I think if they can get anything out of their offense, if they get to 24 points, they're going to win them almost every game they play, I think, with that defense. So I'm going to go even over the 7.5 right now. I think they win 8 or 9 games this year with that schedule. So,
I mean, it's
Nebraska's always been a good defensive team too. So,
yeah, it's classified as the easiest in the Big Ten, easiest schedule in the Big Ten.
I buy it.
I mean, it is. It is. You got Raiola coming back. You got a couple O-line transfers happening. Looks like from Notre Dame and Bama. You do have a transfer heavy front 7 now on the defensive side. So we'll see what kind of what they got there going into play. But I mean, you're looking at a team that's continually developing, and like you said, Matt Rule, all the case doing a momentum of getting in the right spot. There's a lot of, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of one score losses. Yeah. Last year for Nebraska too. They just couldn't finish. So
is Raiola coming out next year in the draft, or is he still a year left?
No, he'll be a sophomore, so he can come out. Yeah.
I mean, that's just another talented quarterback in the class to add to what we're already going to get. So,
I mean, you could see this team go 4-0 before their bye week. I mean, Cincinnati will be a tough game in Kansas City. That'll be a tough game.
Cincy and Michigan. I mean, depending what Michigan is, it could be a tough one. But then you get a cakewalk there until you get to maybe USC. And then you pop around to Penn State and Iowa to end the season, and that kind of puts you where you might be at, So
I know we're not talking Michigan today, but that game against Oklahoma is going to be a telling sign for both teams.
You're so funny, Alan. You're so funny.
I'm just saying, it's just
You're
like
a funny guy, Alan.
We don't know what either team is going to be. We don't know what either team is going to be.
That first comment was a funny comment because Tanner's about to pop something up that.
Yeah, so we are taking the over in Nebraska, guys, and what Alan said and what he knows is 2 different things, apparently. Because we are talking Michigan. What do you know? They are on the books. They're right here. So Michigan.
Hi, everybody in Michigan. Sorry.
Michigan fans are now dropping off as we speak.
Yeah, they're like, oh, look at this guy, Oklahoma guy.
Yeah, this is weird.
Look, 8.5 wins is what you're looking at for the over/under this year. It is confirmed for that here, and I mean, this is still a hell of a schedule as they line up to be. It don't look light to begin with almost anywhere. So. Scott, I'll start with you. What do we hear? What's up, Michigan? Are we saying over or under?
I'm going under. And here's a couple of reasons why. Number one, what we knew about Michigan last year, no explosive plays in their offense. Run the ball, play defense. That's their recipe to win. It's kind of almost like Nebraska. Is really good defense and try to run clock. If they get up 10-0, 14-0 early in games, they're going to pound the rock. Just run. That's a gauntlet of a schedule. There's some games in there. At Oklahoma is going to be tough. At Nebraska is going to be tough. At Southern Cal, I mean, a lot of the
you go to Washington, for God's sake, right in the middle of all that.
Yeah, there's a possibility this team has a losing record this year. There's no explosive plays in their offense at all. Zero. So I don't know where they get 8.5, 9 wins out of the schedule. I just don't know. They even are going to have trouble against New Mexico on August 30th, I think.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's not even a cakewalk. Maybe
watch it. They have a losing record, but still beat Ohio State.
Listen,
I know.
The other thing I'm going to say, see that third game? They won't get up for Central Michigan, but Central Michigan's going to get up for them. And if they start out 0-2, if they lose to New Mexico and Oklahoma, they could be in a world of trouble against Central Michigan even. So I'm going under this. I do not like their offense. Their defense is great. It's top 5, top 10 in the nation most years. But I do not like their offense at all. I could see a lot of losses on this schedule. So give me the under with them.
Okay. Alan?
Yeah, I'm going to say under as well. Again, we're not sure what they are right now. I mean, yeah, they're basically a running team and play defense, but, are they going to be able to keep this up? You mentioned New Mexico could give them a run for their money in the opening week. Oklahoma's going to come ready to showcase their new team, their new offense, especially with Michigan coming to town. That I believe that's already been slated to be a primetime game too. So that's going to be under the lights in Norman for that game. And Scott, you mentioned it. If they drop 0-2 and they're lollygagging around, Central Michigan could catch them week 3. I don't think that they'll win at Nebraska. Washington will be a tough game. Michigan State is a rivalry game. That'll always be a tough game. And yes, somehow, some way, they're probably going to find a way to beat Ohio State because, of course, they are. But, yeah, I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under with them.
Every tough game, before you go to it, every tough game they have is a road game, except Ohio State. Conceivably, as you look at the schedule now, nobody thinks New Mexico. I actually think New Mexico would beat them. But at Nebraska, at Oklahoma, at USC, at Michigan State, and then Ohio State. So their 5 biggest games on their schedule, 4 of them are away from home. That's tough. That's really tough.
I mean, if we look here too, right? And a lot of people are putting that Michigan having one of the easiest slates because they avoid Oregon, right? They avoid Penn State. I don't know, man. Like it's just in Iowa too. They don't have to play Iowa, so like it is a little easier schedule here. But 8.5 is a big number for a team that I don't know. I just didn't think they were that impressive last year to begin with. So
I think people are looking at their win over Ohio State at the end of the year, and then their win over Alabama, which we all know if an SEC team is not in the playoff, they're not playing any of their starters. So
looking here, back on my notes here, the Boise State transfer quarterback, right? Taylor Keene. You have a 5-star freshman, Bryce Underwood, and you did build your O-line with transfers from Alabama and Notre Dame. So you did kind of reinforce that offense a little bit. Yeah, 8 starters back on defense. Your front 7's solid. Like this team, it's not gonna be easy for this team to go over. It's not gonna be easy for this team to go over. So with that being the case here, I am taking the under. And that might be 8 wins. They might get 8 wins. I don't think they go above 9 though. I think the Oklahoma game's gonna be too tough. I think between Nebraska and Wisconsin, USC, Washington, there's 2-2 right there, and who knows what happens with Ohio State, because Ryan Day can't beat Michigan to save us lives. So I think there's a couple other sneaky losses that might pop in. For the value here and everything else, I'm gonna go ahead and take that under plus 135 there.
After the show, I'm looking for a New Mexico, Michigan bet, and I'm taking New Mexico because I have a feeling it's going to be like 14 points, and I think New Mexico keeps it within 14. So,
all right, we got 3 more teams, guys. 3 more teams here. Let's bring it up here. Texas A&M, always a tough team to guess because it's a team that with high expectations, they should be good. They have a good roster, but they always disappoint us in the end. As you can see in the schedule, we already talked about UTSA opener right there. That's going to be tough right off the bat. But our first SEC school here, guys. Alan, I'll let you start here in the SEC world. What are we thinking here for Texas A&M on a 8.5 wins for them?
I'm going way under. I think this is going to be the most disappointing team in the SEC this year, because I think Oklahoma's going to be better. I've already on this show, I've already sung South Carolina's praises. I think they're going to be the dark horse in the SEC this year. Scott, you and I have talked, of course, LSU as a dark horse to win the championship. You still have to deal with Georgia. You still have to deal with Alabama. You've got to play Notre Dame this year at Notre Dame, which Notre Dame is not going to let them do what they did to them last year again. So I think there's a couple the lower side SEC teams like maybe a Vandy, or I don't think they play Vanderbilt, but Florida. I think can beat them. Florida, I think, can beat them off of their momentum from last year. I think they can beat Auburn, because Auburn I'm not high on at all. Arkansas might have a chance to beat them. Missouri might have a chance to beat them. And then they're going to get squashed by Texas. Let's be honest there. They're going to get squashed by Texas. So I'm definitely going under for Texas A&M, because I think they're going to be the disappointment of the SEC this year.
Okay, Scott?
So when I take a look at over-unders, I look at schedule, and I say, okay, where are the losses coming? Notre Dame, LSU, Texas. So that's 3 losses right there in my mind. So now on the rest of the schedule, you have to basically lose one game to reach this win total. Not going to happen. They're going to have at least 2 losses out of the rest of that schedule. UTSA, if their offense is as good as I think it's going to be, could give them problems. Florida definitely give them problems. Even Arkansas. It's at Arkansas. Look at these away games. At Notre Dame, at Arkansas, at LSU, at Missouri, at Texas. That's a lot to ask them to win 9 games. I don't think they do. Marcel Reese is the guy to watch at quarterback for them. I'm not sold on him at all.
He had 8 starts last year.
Them. Yep, he did. Mike Elko came over from Duke last year, went 8-4. I don't think they're going to go way under the 8.5. I think they could be 7 or 8 wins. I just can't see with that schedule getting to 9 wins. So I would go slightly under on Texas A&M.
I think 9.
By the way, Scott, not to cut you off, Tanner. I'm sorry. I just looked this up. Michigan is a 34.5 point favorite against New Mexico.
Oh, God. New Mexico.
Plus 34.5. Thank you.
34.5. It's all over it.
Look, this team here, we'll break down here, right? They are returning 15 starters, 7 on offense, 8 on defense. Their whole entire O-line is coming back. In that started last year, they're coming back, and they will be starting there. You do got a pretty balanced schedule there, but I mean, it is a tough one in the SEC. But what isn't tough in the SEC in football for them here? Man, this is actually a little tougher than I thought it would be here. Look, do I see 8-9 wins? I could, but I think the better bet here, guys, is we're going to take the under. I think the under 8.5 is a lot, especially in the SEC. And like Alan was stating too, like you got Notre Dame. You got to go. You got to deal with Florida, who sometimes shows up. Arkansas has an increase in recruiting with the basketball program. Now their football program being there. LSU is supposed to be. We're talking about them being possibly national contenders this year. South Carolina being sneaky. So we're gonna drop it down. We're gonna take the under of the 8.5 wins, and I think honestly it's probably gonna be 8 right on the dot. So that'll be under for most of us here on the 8.5 wins. Vols, Tennessee, Vols. This one's a tough one too. But 8.5 wins as well for Tennessee. What are we thinking? What are we thinking here? Let's start with Scott.
So, Sam, are you watching? First of all, no. So I'm gonna go under the 8.5 with them. This is SEC. They play Alabama. Oklahoma is gonna be tough for them. Florida is gonna be tough for them. Vanderbilt at the end of the year is gonna be tough. So here's a stat I dug up for Tennessee, which leads me to say that they're going to be a lot of in-game betting for me. In the last 3 seasons, when Tennessee runs for 185 yards or more, they are 23-0. Last year, when they ran for 185 yards or more in a game, they were 8-0. So everything starts at Tennessee with their rush game. They've lost their top rusher, Dylan Sampson. He's in Cleveland right now. So this is a perfect in-game betting team, and the reason I say that is look to see how many yards rushing they have in the first quarter, at the end of the first quarter. If it's in the 50s or 60s, you got to bet Tennessee because they're probably going to get to 185. But to me, they're an under team. SEC. Syracuse, even opening week, is going to be tough for them. Syracuse is an improving team. They're on the rise. So I could see them losing to Alabama. I could see them losing to Syracuse, definitely to Georgia. That's 3 losses. To Oklahoma, that's a shot to lose. 4 losses. So they got to run the rest of that's 12 out of 12 games. That's 4 losses. I see. So they're not going to reach 8.5. They lost their quarterback. They have a new quarterback in Marcel Reese. Not Marcel Reese. I forget who the quarterback is. Got him in the transfer portal. They're gonna have a tough. They're gonna have to run the ball effectively to win 9 games, and I don't think they can win 9 games. So I'm gonna go. I think they'll win 8, not 9. So under
8 under.
Yep.
It ain't about the. Hey, we already talked about it. Not really. Alan, what do you got?
It's bad when even the Tennessee fan has doubts about what this season may hold. As someone who's done multiple shows with Sam over the course of the last few weeks and in group chats and what have you, he's not even sure what this Tennessee team is going to be. You mentioned the losses, Scott. That Kentucky game on the road is not going to be easy. I think they can still win that, but Kentucky's going to give them all that they have. I don't think that they'll beat Florida on the road. I think Florida's improved as well. So I'm going to go under 2 because Georgia right away. You get the monkey off your back right away with Georgia, but going to Alabama, Oklahoma's going to be better. Arkansas is going to be better. Florida's going to be better. Vanderbilt's going to be better. It's going to be a tough road for the Vols. So, unfortunately, we ain't going to be singing Rocky Top this year that much. So,
Syracuse
is also going to be a tough game.
Syracuse game is going to tell you everything you need to know about Tennessee in week 1.
Tennessee is a 13.5-point favorite in that game, by the way.
I'd take Syracuse right now.
So
yeah, I think we're looking here.
I'm going under.
Okay.
Yep.
Look, yeah, the QB room reset too, right? Joey Aguilera coming in from App State, but he had 35 touchdowns just a couple years ago and almost 4,000 yards. So this guy can sling it. He can throw it, and he'll get it out there if they let him. But I mean, the books have already trimmed this too. Like they were 9.5, now it's 8.5, so they're already going downwards in this as well. But can the defense carry them still? They are returning eight starters, where they finished 6 last year. On my notes here, and then, but the schedule's tough. Schedule is what brings it. And like you talked about Kentucky being a guy, yeah, you're going to put all your basket in the Alabama game, then you have to go to Kentucky, and that's just a setup. We saw that last year for a lot of stuff there. I think honestly with the Oklahoma game, you could do the same thing with New Mexico State.
That Kentucky game is going to be the biggest trap game for them this year because you're coming off a game at Alabama, and then the following week you have to host Oklahoma. So that Kentucky game is going to be the biggest trap game for Tennessee this year.
Yeah, I like that circle. I like that circle there. 8.5. The books are going downwards here. We're gonna lean that under. We're gonna lean that under 8.5 here. I just don't see the over happening in Tennessee. But if they can get through some of these key games, you can bet that they're gonna be near that title game if it comes to it. So, all right, guys, the final one here for the show today. Oregon 10.5 wins. Big one. One of the, I think, national contenders for us, for title contenders as well. If we missed our episode last week, we talked about national contenders and their future bets here, and Oregon was in the list. So, Scott, we'll start with you, man. What we got? Over, under 10.5 wins for Oregon.
I'm going under. Dante Moore's the quarterback. Came in from UCLA a couple of years ago. He played for UCLA. Was not good at UCLA. A lot of picks. Didn't run the offense efficiently with Chip Kelly. Got benched. That's a problem in my mind. Secondly, you got Penn State on the schedule. That's a loss. You got to travel through 3 time zones to get to Penn State.
That's going to be the whiteout game too.
That's probably I think that's the whiteout game for Penn State. That's the game they're going to look forward to the most before they play late in the season against anybody else. So that's a loss. And I'm going to say this. I've read a lot. Rutgers could have the best team they've had under Greg Schiano ever. And they have that game sandwiched in between Indiana and Wisconsin. And they have to go on the road to play that game as well. They could lose that game. If Dante Moore is not good, there's some losses in the USC's could be a loss. Rutgers could be a loss. Penn State. I think Penn State's going to beat them. So I could see them going 9-2. I could see them going on 9-3. I don't think they're going to win 11 games with that schedule. I think there's going to be Penn State's going to be a loss, and I think there's one more on that schedule that could trip them up. So
I will say this too.
Yeah.
Week 2 against an Oklahoma State team that's looking to rebound is also going to be a tough game. I don't think they'll lose that game, but that Oklahoma State team is going to come ready to go.
So what's the rant? I'm Mike Gundy. I'm 50. I'm a man.
I mean, pretty much at this point.
That schedule's tough. It really is. It's not as easy as people think. Iowa is going to bring their defense, obviously. Penn State is really, really good.
That Penn State game is the whiteout game.
And Rutgers. I think Rutgers could beat them. At Rutgers, that's a tough place to go and play for any team. So.
Okay. So you're taking the under?
Slight. They're gonna go 10-2. So I'm gonna go slight under.
Okay. Alan?
I will say this also at Northwestern, depending on what the weather is like, that could also be a tough game. I know Northwestern's the bottom half of the Big Ten. They're not really that good. But depending on what the weather's like in that game, because we've seen teams go into Northwestern where, bad weather, all that. Because I think I always look back to the Ohio State game a couple years ago where the Buckeyes only put up like 17 points on them and still won, but it was a really tough game for them. Don't sleep on that game either. But that being said, I'm going under as well.
Okay.
Going under as well because you're not beating Penn State, especially if they're doing a whiteout.
I hear you. I hear what you guys are saying here. Okay. Tougher teams, tough schedule right off the bat. Just on paper, it looks, even on my notes here, everything favors the under, right? Being, 10 win team. But dang it, I'm sticking with my gut. This is a national championship contender. This team is going up. It's over. It's an 11 win team here. They're going to get one loss in this whole entire thing here, and it's not going to be Penn State. So give me the over of the 10.5 wins, and we're riding with Oregon here. We're riding with Oregon.
That Penn State game, that's the national championship game for them. If Penn State loses that game to Oregon, nobody takes them seriously to win a national championship. If they beat Oregon, then everybody's on the Penn State bandwagon.
Yeah, there's more pressure on Penn State than there is Oregon.
There is. No doubt about it.
I ain't concerned about that.
And I will say this too, Tanner. One game we've kind of overlooked is the opener, Montana State.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a smaller school, but Montana State knows how to put points on the board.
Yeah,
they're gonna come after them. They're probably not gonna win that game, but Montana State's gonna give them a hell of a ride, at least in the beginning of that game.
That'll be one of those I live bet for sure because I'm excited to see what happens there. So, but yeah, I'm taking the over, guys. I'm gonna be the odd one out here. I'm taking the over on Oregon, and I'm throwing down a little money. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. What was it? 7 teams over under wins for this week here. Next week we'll pick back up some more college football talk here for that. But make sure you tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow we will do being a live mock draft. You guys are available to come join. I'll drop the link in the chat shortly before the show starts. So make sure you do that. I'll do it at the beginning as well while we kind of talk for a minute. So if you guys want to come mock, it's a 12-man, 10-round, no kickers, no defenses. It's going to be a great time for our NFL show tomorrow on NFL Sunday. So right here, lock it in. Stay tuned. And like, subscribe, hit that bell. So, guys, let's get the hell out of here. Let's go put in our futures bets. See you.
Bye.